What's going on, guys? We have some, I think, pretty interesting news to share today about a change coming, very likely, to the Google Pixel 8. Now, I know that the 7 and 7 Pro have not been out for all that long, but yes, indeed, we do have some news to share about the Pixel 8. And this, like a lot of news about recent Pixel devices, comes from Twitter user Kuba, and then a last name that I will not even attempt to do the disservice of attempting to pronounce myself. Thank you to this individual for the work that they're doing. They are digging into, if you do not know, the APKs from Google's camera app. In this case, I believe the Google Camera Go app has been ripped apart to find secrets dwelling within. And this is sort of the headline. Google's 2023 flagship Pixels to include support for staggered HDR. And this is actually a pretty big deal for the photographic performance of these devices. Let's kind of go down here really quickly and we'll dig into how we think that we know this. Long story short, Kuba says, courtesy of Google, we got a clean, unobfuscated version of the Google Camera Go app that includes references that seemingly confirm that the flagship Pixels of 2023, codenames Husky and Sheba, how adorable is that, will support staggered HDR. And you can see here yourself, request staggered HDR mode. Now, how does that translate to real world performance? What exactly does this mean? Well, in order to explain this, we have to talk a little bit about how HDR currently works on Pixel devices. And yes, indeed, this will mean a sensor change is going to have to take place to make this work. So currently, if you are using your Pixel device like my Pixel 7 Pro that I have here, and you are taking photos with it, more than likely you have HDR Plus enabled. It is enabled by default. So whenever you snap that picture, what Google's camera app currently does is it takes a whole bunch of images, boom, 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 really quickly, and then it stacks them, it layers them on top of each other, and each one is exposed slightly differently, right? So there's slightly different pictures, okay? Like I said, the exposure is different. Lots of things are going to be different about these individual pictures, all taken extremely rapidly. And then as they are layered together to create one image, they're sent through Google's proprietary image processing pipeline, and a lot of cool stuff happens. You can actually see this yourself. You take a picture and you quickly load that picture up before it's done processing. It's not going to look very good, and the processing takes place, and then boom, it looks much better. I believe you can do that on Pixel devices. So you can definitely do this on other devices that use a similar sort of AI-based image processing, which is what Google is using as well. So how does this differ from staggered HDR? What is the difference here? Well, staggered HDR actually allows you to capture several different images just the same way as before, but at the same time. It's actually something that's happening with the sensor itself and not something that's happening with software. So currently, you hit that shutter button and you're not taking one picture. It's taking like, I don't remember how many it is now. I think it's changed, but let's say it's like 10 pictures or something. Boom, 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 as quickly as it possibly can, but they're each taken in an individual process. Well, with staggered HDR, the same sensor, the same pixels can actually take pixels, referring to the pixels on the sensor, not pixels, that they can take multiple photos at different exposures at the exact same time. Well, what is the benefit to this? You may be asking yourself. The benefit is speed. It takes less time to do staggered HDR than to do the traditional HDR that we are currently using. Now, how does this indicate that we're going to need a new sensor? Well, the current sensor in the Pixel 6 and Pixel 7 is the Samsung GN1, and it does not support staggered HDR. Well, what sensor does support staggered HDR? Of course, the 50 megapixel ISOCELL GN2, the upgraded version of the GN1, and that is almost certainly what we are going to be seeing in the Pixel 8. Now, it is not just staggered HDR that is changing, right? We do have a slight increase, I should say, in pixel size, up to 1.4 micrometers, which it was 1.2, so bigger pixels also means faster shutter speed, better low light performance, potentially better detail as well. It is just a better sensor. They also do talk about autofocus performance, which will also play into the shutter speed thing. It's going to be able to grab focus more quickly, which means you can get that picture taken even more quickly as well. It does have dual pixel autofocus technology, which could indeed aid the portrait mode on these phones as well. All in all, it's just like I said, it's an improved sensor, and this new staggered HDR could really, really improve the overall feel of these devices. We talk a lot on this channel about Samsung phones, and a lot of people complain Samsung phones have kind of a slow camera. You take that picture and then stuff is ghosted and it's out of focus. Well, this type of thing is going to help this not be a problem on Pixel devices. It's already less of a problem for Google, and it's going to be even less of a problem than that. Hopefully, Samsung can get on board and start using some of their own more recent sensors and start addressing some of these problems. At any rate, that's what I've got for you on this video. Like I said earlier, huge shout out to Kuba for the incredible work that they continue to do, pulling apart these camera APKs and finding lovely information for people like myself to share with you here on this channel. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button on your way out so that you don't miss out on more content just like this. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.